Is there a vast conspiracy behind social media, manipulating it so that certain topics trend and certain topics don't? Is the online hate mob nothing more than a synthetic simulation intended to quiet the noise when you don't like a particular piece of entertainment? Today, we're going to uncover what is going on, bringing forth the expert who found out it's truly a bought and paid for bot war. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a joy as always, and as promised, today and tomorrow, well, they're going to be very spicy. Helping us jump into this experience is Master of the TDS, who is the man who uncovered quite the situation, and TDS, welcome to the channel.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
TDS, now I don't want to put words in your mouth, and I don't want to presume that I understand exactly what it is that we have found here. I am impressed with what has been discovered, but for the audience out there who doesn't know a single thing about this, they have not yet watched your video, they haven't seen our cursory coverage of this. Can you explain, in your opinion, and not the opinion of this channel, but your opinion, what it is that you've come across?
Well, it seems like what I've come across is, I've been looking into this for a while, and it seems like what I've come across is, at least in particular for this thing, there's more to come. But with this, is a post that is being, I guess, promoted or in a weird way with a bunch of different accounts replying to it, all paid accounts. And this is a post about Disney's stock and talking about how Disney's stock rose 11.5%. And this is after the earnings call with Bob Iger, where he kind of just said a bunch of things that were coming out without really any roadmap or anything like that, just to kind of get investors interested. And it's comparing it to ARM, the chip manufacturer, who it says it jumped to 47.9%. So they're trying to compare the two, but all these accounts are responding to this. And this is the biggest thing about this is this was posted recently, and it's got about 380 likes, and it's got 1.5 million views. And the issue here is that you see all these accounts responding to it. And if they were just a bunch of accounts responding to one account to a post like that, you might look at it and not be confused or be like, okay, yeah, makes sense. But
right, if there were not blue checks, we wouldn't care. We wouldn't be doing this video because this is normal, right? We know the internet is to whatever degree manipulated. When you showed me this, and Jonas J. Campbell this, with the blue checks, that said to me, money is behind this. And again, folks, we don't know. Maybe some of these folks out there, they're just responding in the same way that they see others respond. But Master of the TDS, it seems to me that you don't believe that. Is that correct?
I don't believe it. And the reason is, and again, I probably should have broken this down a little bit better in my video. But if you take a look, and again, everything's uncovered. I usually cover up names and compilations just to be for safety reasons. But in this case, I'm not concerned about that. But you can actually go check this out. This is a real thread with real things responding to it. And if you take a look at some of these accounts, a lot of them either were made recently or only post things like at certain times and kind of go dormant for a while. They don't look to me like normal people interacting with posts. Because look, if this was something more political or a meme or something like that, and it had more likes and more whatever, then I might be persuaded, okay, this is just, whatever it is. But it's not, because these accounts don't have a lot of activity. They're only there for the most part to promote these things. And it's not just Disney, they're promoting other things as well, if you take a look. But most of them, when I looked into them, don't really have a lot of activity that makes me think there's a person behind it. I could be wrong, but that's what I think, is that I think we're looking at bots.
Now, could you scroll through and show people the voluminous responses that we're seeing with this one post? Can you scroll through and show some of those other images?
Sure.
So, folks, this is what we're talking about, is just an enormous volume of people responding in very, very similar ways. Now, Master of the TDS, were this just one post also, I want to say that we would not be covering this story. But what you seem to have uncovered is that this is not one post, and this is not the entirety of the users who seem to be posting in this manner. This seems to be at very, very large scale. Now, let's play this out. So in this post alone, there's about 200 responses. And of those 200 responses, let's give the benefit of the doubt, and let's say that half are real people. I don't believe that's true, but let's say that half are real people. If 100 accounts are posting on this, and if 100 bots are posting, then those 100 bots, since they're blue checks, you're talking about an $800 per month effort. $800 per month effort. And when you go and you look at these other posts, by the way, because it turns out you've discovered this is happening at scale on all sorts of issues across the entertainment industry. Master TDS, do you find these exact same users commenting, or is it completely different users with blue checks commenting in tandem, let's say?
So it's actually a combination. I've actually seen posts where the same person will post multiple times. I've seen some posts where similar looking people will post multiple times. Is there some crossover? Absolutely, there is. I've seen crossover with some posts. Now, usually, though, what I will see is there's for each post or certain kinds of posts, there might be the similar people responding. So, for example, if let's say we were to find something for the Marvels, right? There'll be a similar group of people responding to that. And if there are any more Marvels posts, usually there's a good chance you'll find some of those same users responding and commenting on those as well.
Now, do you think, well, let me ask this. Why do you think that someone is taking the effort to have so many blue checks, if that's what's happening, and we don't presume to know for sure, but if that's what is happening, if somebody or something is directing a ton of blue check accounts to respond to a single post, why are they doing that?
Well, actually, this is something I wanted to bring up. You mentioned, and I actually haven't brought this up in my video or anywhere else. One of the things you mentioned was, okay, this is money behind it, right? So money, people are paying $8.
Big money.
Well, here's my point. There is actually another tier of blue check now. It's called, I think, Premium Plus.
Yes.
What does it do? It gives you a couple more things. It gives you access to their like chat GPT thing. I think it's called a Gronk or something.
Grok, Grok.
But it also does something which makes me think that that's what's going on here. What it
Explain,
does
please.
is that it actually gives people what's called a reply boost preference. It's mentioned specifically. It gives it gives people who are replying to people a boost when they have blue checks. So my thought is, are they doing it on purpose, not just so it's harder to trace, but are they using the reply boosting thing to get even more attention to this post? Because if that's the case, I don't even know how much Premium Plus is. But let's imagine
it's
for a minute.
$15.
Yeah, let's imagine that each of these is not $8, but $15.
Wow. And then, okay, and we're talking about, this is not limited to 200 accounts. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accounts posting and responding to these very peculiar looking posts. Now, I don't want to push you to release or reveal anything earlier than you're ready. You've got the lead on this, but can you tell folks some of the other topics that you've seen that are experiencing this sort of communications response across Twitter/X? Just so people understand, when we're talking about it's not just stocks, what is that?
So I've actually seen, and this is actually going to be the topic of my next video, I've actually seen them promoting and talking about their parks, a lot of them in particular. Posts talking about Marvel topics in general. Some very strange conversations that just pop up that happen to reference Marvel things that really don't have any kind of starting point. And then we have a bunch for their shows. Their Disney Plus shows, some of their movies, and I'm still looking into this, so there could even be more. But their shows, their movies, their comics, the comics they say are doing so well. If they're doing so well, why do you have to use posts to boost them up? Well, we have that too. And we even have, and this is just taking a slight tangent from Marvel, we have Star Wars as well. I have some of the High Republic as well.
And I want to be clear, we're not saying definitively that Disney is behind this. What we are saying is that it appears to us or to you that there is a very large amount of money being spent by someone so that there are communications on Twitter at a high volume that repeat very similar phrases and perhaps hashtags, I'm not sure about that, Is it your belief that this is being done in order to manipulate the visibility of particular topics and trends? Is it being done to manipulate the narratives? Is it in order to affect the opinions of consumers? Or is it maybe to affect the trending status of various topics? What do you think is the overall effort here?
I think it's a combination of all of those things. I think keep in mind when people reply with certain kinds of words, and as you notice, each of these posts mention Disney and ARM, and at least most of them, or they mention stocks or something like that. If you were to go on Twitter, now this is not recommending you do this, but if you were to get a bunch of accounts or a couple accounts and you were to spam a hashtag a bunch of times, it will potentially at some point get it trending. It doesn't work as cut and dry as I'm sending, but it will. So this is meant to boost not just the post, but it's also meant to boost the awareness of a topic. So for example, let's say that I was a person who was looking into investing in Disney stock, right? And I were to want to look into it. And I was thinking, okay, what are people saying on social media? And I went on X to go look for it. And I saw that it was trending. Not only that it was trending, but a bunch of accounts with blue check marks were responding and saying how good it's doing. If I did not know any better and I did not look beneath the surface, I might now be interested in getting Disney stock. But they don't necessarily mention they're comparing it to ARM, but ARM was at 47%. Disney's only at 11. That's way less. So while yes, it's gone up, it hasn't gone up anywhere near the same amount. So it might influence me kind of falsely to invest in Disney stock without potentially looking into it. But as far as with the hashtags and stuff like that you mentioned, there are those too. And I even think that's also used, and this will be something I touch on in the future video at some point, is that I think it's also used to generate news for articles, because I've seen that as well. I've seen some weird results that are promoting certain ideas that articles come out about, and you go, I haven't seen anybody talking about this. But then guess what? I did find people talking about it, but it's only on a couple different threads. And that wouldn't surprise me if there was some, again, we don't know if it's Disney or not, but if there was some collaboration effort going on behind the scenes, it wouldn't surprise me with that either. Again, that's just speculation, mind you.
And without saying what the property is, because I know this is going to be the topic of a future video that you're going to do, without saying what the property is it fair to say that you've also seen some of these messages which have come out before they're supposed to, and they talk about a property that has not yet released as if it's in the past tense because
yes, absolutely,
somebody screwed up, and then you get that en masse. So
yes,
okay, so let's talk about then a couple of things. First of all, when we're showing images with such huge numbers of responses, there's no doubt that somewhere there's going to be a real person behind some of these accounts. All of these are publicly available, folks. All of these are publicly posted. So that's why we're presenting them to you as we are. None of these are private in any way. And we're not making any kind of assertion about any individual account at all whatsoever. Nothing disparaging here. It seems to me, though, that Master of the TDS, that if what you are alleging is true, there's nothing that I can think of that makes this illegal. And I don't know what I think about the ethics of it, but I certainly think that it bypasses the reason for the check mark now. So the entire reason for the blue check when Elon Musk transitioned it from being a status symbol to being a paid verification of identity was so that we would know this was a real person. I think what you have discovered, and I hope Elon Musk watches this video, some of the folks who are on this channel from time to time are followed by Elon Musk. It seems to me that you've discovered that somebody has somehow cracked the code, perhaps, and has completely manipulated that system. Is that fair?
Yeah, it would be more than fair to say that, because as I said, keep in mind, this is all we're keeping in mind that here we're saying, okay, they're all paying $8, but if it's $15 and they're getting the reply boosting, not only are they bypassing the whole reason for the check mark, but they're using the reply boosting in addition. So that's even a little bit more. It's breaking it even further, potentially.
You know, there's two thoughts that come to my mind on this. So the first thought I have, I'll tell you a little story. So a couple of days ago, I was out doing some lawn work, and I noticed that there was a little red cardinal sitting on a vehicle, and that little red cardinal, it had spotted its reflection in the rear view mirror of the vehicle. And it was just, it would fly down there and it would peck at the beak of of its reflection, thinking that was another cardinal. And I watched that little bird do that over and over. And it was into it. It had to let that other cardinal know who was boss. And near the vehicle was a cat. And the cat was sitting there, just watching this bird. And you could tell the cat was thinking, I'm going to have a very nice dinner in a moment. And what struck me in my mind at that point was sometimes we focus on things that we should not be focused on. Sometimes we want to pounce on something that really we've missed what is the real danger. In this case, I think that you have absolutely identified something that is massive, and I hope that you're going to follow up on it. The other thing that I would say, Master of the TDS, about this is it reminds me a lot of how back, 15 years ago, World of Warcraft was the biggest game on the planet, and there were people out of different countries in Asia and other places who they were called gold farmers, and they were actually making a living completely altering the way the programmers intended the game to be played, and then they were using that altering of how the game was supposed to be played to benefit the folks who wanted to get ahead. And I wonder if something like that is happening here. I don't know who the go-betweens are. I don't know who the beneficiaries are. I have no idea which companies are involved. But it just seems to me that somewhere, someplace on this earth, there's something going on that's corrupting the way that our social media works. And I would say this, TDS, while we are discovering this about entertainment, and you are going to do an extensive series of videos on this that's going to uncover this in high fidelity, it makes me wonder how much of the vitriol and the backlashes and the attacks that we see online are completely artificially manufactured in order to sow division. Those are just things that come to my mind.
Fair enough. And that is something that I've been looking into. That's originally what drove me to even look into this in the first place. And as you mentioned in your video, I think this is a first step into potentially uncovering that at some point. It's something I definitely want to look into because there have been a number of prominent people who have been attacked or whatever over opinions and stuff, and then these accounts mysteriously disappear, especially around different shows coming out. So I'm definitely keeping an eye out for that. But it wouldn't surprise me if there's more of that to come.
Well, and there are people out there who they are swayed by volume. Some people are swayed by logic. Some people are swayed by emotions. Some people are swayed by just the idea that, oh, well, everybody must agree with this because look at all of this. And so there's something to that as well. We're going to stay on this, folks. We're going to continue to follow it. Master the TDS has the lead. If you're not yet following his account, you need to be doing so. I'm telling you right now. I myself am not qualified to make any kind of absolute determination as to what we're witnessing. I lean on the experts such as TDS to understand this, and we're going to continue to bring it forth. All right, folks, it's your turn now. Join in. Click the like button, share, subscribe. Click it, stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell, and prove that you are a person, not whatever this is, and that you have unique and special thoughts and ideas, and drop a comment down below. Folks, we will continue on telling the truth as best we can. So, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Clickbait. Fraud. Drama queen. Ugh. I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid. There is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.